Welcome into the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we just got to the hotel and Jeff's going to the pool, I'm going golfing, and Banner is going to Hooters. This is our review of The Last Dance, episode 5 and 6, grading this on our 5 criteria: cast, story, best scene, impacts on pop culture, and rewatchability, or whatever the fuck we feel like talking about for the 5th one. So, for cast, let's go to the mayor himself, Jeff Hornacek.
Thanks, Matt. Again, this documentary series, we'll get into it a little bit further, probably an impact. But the thing I loved about episodes 5 and 6 on the whole, a little bit of a change of pace. Jordan, apparently breaking news, cannot walk on water, which I really needed to see.
What?
That's the word now. It hasn't been confirmed by multiple outlets. As far as acting, which we're translating to TV as like our favorite person in these 2 episodes, I know he wasn't in much of it. And this is probably a cheating pick, but it was cool to see Kobe again. And I know that a big part of the 98 season was kind of that Bulls team realizing there is a changing of the guard happening in the NBA. And that behind-the-scenes footage of the All-Star game, to see them talking about, like, oh, this little Laker guy, you know, he just shoot the ball every damn time he gets it. It's kind of cool to see how the generations, especially like Kobe being such a student of the game that he was, had such a respect for the generation before them. And even Jordan, you could tell, like, at that moment there, like, all right, it's about to be his league, but it's not quite yet. I think that's an important seed to plant as we head into the final 2 weekends and 4 episodes of this, is that this Bulls team was still at the top of their game, but as Harvey Dent says, you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain, and they saw the writing on the wall. So I'll take the low-hanging fruit in Kobe Bryant for these 2 episodes.
Yeah, Harvey said that in the Bible, if I'm not mistaken. Banner.
So as far as, you know, acting or just the people that are involved in this, my, I think, favorite part was hearing how Magic talked about Michael. That was really cool, because that was in itself another kind of changing of the guard from the Larry Bird and Magic Johnson kind of era to Jordan, and hearing him talk about Jordan and how his work ethic was and how he wouldn't lose, is kind of the same thing that you were talking about, Jeff, with Jordan to the Kobe transition. You just have one great talking about the other great, and really there being a lot of mutual respect on both sides there was really cool to see, because, I mean, you know, all those guys went at each other every fucking time they had a chance.
Well, we even see it in the Dream Team practice. It's like a closed practice.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Magic takes the fucking ball. The coaches are the referees, and he fucking chucks the ball into the stands. I'm like, all right, I get it.
We need a Dream Team 30 for 30, and at least a 3-hour one at that. So, cast for me, Sir Charles Barkley. I was hoping they get to the 93 finals in this one, because I didn't want to wait another week. And not to really do impacts on cast, but did those Phoenix Suns jerseys just make you guys want to grab a Sunny D and go play Sega? Because it just took me fucking way back. I love those jerseys. The Suns were not my team, but those jerseys were fucking great.
And let's talk about their logo. It's like a literal sun, but a basketball in the middle. You couldn't roll that out now. You get laughed at, but in the 90s, that was cool as shit.
God,
on like retro throwback night? That's awesome.
It's so fucking cool. And Barkley, you watch some, 30 for 30s or flashback documentaries, and they're like, oh, like, just like Tiger, like how much he's changed and evolved. Barkley hasn't changed at all. He said what is on his mind since day one. If you like it, cool, buy my shoe. If you don't, there's other shoes on the shelf. I really don't give a shit. And that's why the media just basically leaves him alone, because you can't get to him. You can't. He does not care what you think or what you write about him. And he'll just make fun or say whatever's on his mind. I've loved Charles Barkley my entire life. I've never been a Suns fan. I've never really been like a Barkley fan, but I respect the hell out of him for how he played. And he brought up a great point. It's not the best player that gets MVP. It's whoever has the best regular season. And people forget about that whenever someone says LeBron should be MVP every single year. I'm like, but did he have a better statistical regular season than Russell Westbrook, who averaged a fucking triple-double since the first time since Oscar Robinson fucking did it? Like, that is a great debate that is just shut down right there. It's not the best player. It's whoever had the best regular season. And Charles, I haven't looked at the stats, but he said he had the best regular season. I probably agree with him for taking that Suns team to the NBA fucking finals. I mean, that was a fine team, but it wasn't anything close to like what the Rockets had or what the fucking New York Knicks had or anything like that. But Barkley, for me, man, him and Rodman, anytime they're on the screen, I'm like, okay, everyone shut up. I want to hear what they got to say.
And real quick, let me just, my personal opinion in a guy like Charles Barkley, and this is the bros take. If you're funny, you can get away with saying a lot more than the other guy. Yeah. And Charles Barkley is fucking hilarious. So
people don't know if you're joking or not.
The leash on him is a little longer because he makes me laugh when he talks.
All right, so story. Man, they've gotten so much. I think this is the most they've gotten into in 2 episodes. I mean, you went through the Dream Team, through the 93 fucking finals, which is a story of itself with Barkley and Jordan, who I would think it's the first time Jordan went up with one of his best friends. I mean, Scotty's not really his friend, but I mean, him and Barkley are fucking boys.
They haven't even talked about that, I feel like.
Not really. And then, then the 98, they're going back and forth, like Jeff said, like the behind the scenes. But Banner, there's a lot to the story here.
So I've got 2 things that I really took out of this. The first one is I knew there was bad blood between Pippen and Jordan and Kukoc. I didn't understand why or how it went down. And this shed a lot of light on that for me. Jerry Krause going after wanting Kukoc, saying he's the next Michael Jordan, and basically trying to replace Jordan when Jordan's literally at the top of his game. And Pippen going, look, I got your back, man. And they just beat the piss out of him in that first game. I had no idea that was why. And then Kukoc to come back in the finals. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, well, it's funny because that Dream Team beat everybody by 50, so they needed motivation like that, which is Kukoc is just unfortunately the victim of it.
To piggyback on that, if the Suns jerseys didn't want to make you grab a Sunny D and play Sega, then those USA Dream Team hats and shirt, like everyone, they were even D2 Mighty Ducks. Check out our commentary on that. Yeah. Everyone was wearing those USA. Remember the collector's cups from McDonald's? Like I had all of them. Had Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan on it. I had all those collector's cups. Go ahead, Banner. But I mean, we could just talk about the Dream Team for hours. It's fascinating, that team.
But then going back to the Kukoc kind of thing there, them kind of going, oh, hey, we beat the hell out of him in that first game. Then he comes back and drops, I don't know, it was like 20 points or something on him in the second game. They were like, all right, you know what? This guy might be kind of tough. And then kind of talking about why Kukoc was so tough. And you can see a little foreshadowing there of when he joins the Bulls of they're planting that seed now that they're going to go and harvest in one of these last episodes. The other thing that, or the other thing is that infamous practice. We've all heard about it, that closed court practice where it was Team USA versus Team USA, and those guys went at it. Hearing those guys talk about that practice is not like hearing the coaches talk about that practice or the few people that did witness it. That sounds like the best thing I would ever watch in my life. Can you imagine watching that game?
It's awesome how, I mean, you got so many alphas in there that it's not just practice. It's not like, hey, let's practice. We're going to beat these guys by 30. Like, dude, we're going to win the gold. But can we beat MJ's team? Can we get bragging rights at the hotel and, when we play each other next year? And that's what true competitiveness. The sad thing is, and I hate to be the old guy, get off my lawn. I don't think if we had the stars of today, they'd do that. I just don't.
No, there's no way. And then last thing I've got here, Jordan, they made him look like a shitty golfer. Did you guys notice that?
I think he's like a 5 handicap.
He's a lot better golfer than what they showed. That first drive he had looked like it went bad. That first drive he had looked like it went straight left.
98, wasn't it? He started playing golf, I think, in like 95. So, I mean, obviously you get better each time. I think he's like Barkley said he was like a 5 or 6 handicap. And this was an interview that he did a couple weeks ago. So he's shooting high 70s, low 80s.
All right. That's what I had.
I mean,
that's pretty fucking
he's
good.
Athletic. I never played with him, so I can't say how good or patty. I mean,
did you guys hear the story of
call me and Thurman. We'll play a three-way with you. What?
Did you guys hear the story about MJ and Brooks Koepka?
Kepka. God
Koepka,
damn it.
whatever the
Edit
fuck his
that
name
out.
is.
What's the story?
He's only the best golfer in the world. But yeah, go ahead.
They went golfing, and I guess he was up on MJ with like one stroke with 2 holes left. And MJ looks at him on the tee box as 17 and goes, "All right, it's fourth quarter now." Doesn't say anything to him till they're shaking hands on the 18th green when he beat him. And MJ goes, "Good game. Where's your wallet?"
And your wife. That's how we
Yeah.
play.
All right, Jeff, story. You want to say anything or just butcher someone's name that's high profile in sports?
Fine.
It reminds me of the How I Met Your Mother, where Ted Mosby thinks that chameleon is pronounced Shamaleon because he's only read the word. So the one thing I'll say about story, because I'll mainly get into this in best scene, and Matt, you and I talked on the phone earlier this week, and I told you this. This was a much needed episode, and I think even last week on our review you said this. Don't fucking polish this thing up for me and give me the Disney version. And I think we got their best iteration of that. Jordan has flaws. He has problems. The Sam Smith book, the gambling problem, and obviously in this, we know the story, but they can't get into why his dad's death happened. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't want them to get into that. That's a very personal thing. I just wanted them to get into the gambling stuff,
and they acknowledged it. They gave us all of episode 6 was pretty much his flaws and his gambling issues, and so that's what was cool to me about the story here. But like you also said, the back and forth narrative that Banner has praised the entire series, and I echo everything he said. I think this was the most effective use of it, because if they don't do it that way, then we couldn't have gotten both the Dream Team aspect of it, which is so interesting, and obviously, like, you could give me 1,000 hours of Dream Team, I'd still want more, and we couldn't have gotten his gambling as his career progressed from 93 to 98. So I think this was, if it's not the most effective use in terms of like a linear narrative, that's fine, because it gave me all of the interesting facts about this story that I needed in a way that felt fluid.
Okay, before I go on to best scene, I just want a one-word answer from you guys. Jordan's gambling, is it a big fucking deal just because it's the 90s? Because today I don't think, if you're not raping or someone, I didn't think it was a big deal at all. What about you, Jeff?
No. And that's my answer is no. The reason it was a big deal to the media, because you know this, we talked about this with like tweets from amateur athletes, you have to find a chink in the armor.
Yeah, right.
And whatever they can latch their claws into, they're going to grab onto.
This was almost a changing of the guard. No, I don't think it's a big deal. I think it was a big deal in the 90s. I think that era and almost that event specifically was kind of the changing of the guard in the sports media world of, okay, we got to find dirt on this guy. Before, and we've already talked about it on this review a couple episodes ago, Jordan could do no wrong in the media's eyes. He was the golden child. And now they're starting to go, oh, hey, he has flaws. Let's start reporting on these flaws. Oh, shit, people like this? People want to see that he's mortal? Okay, let's start doing that. Let's do that with these other people, too. So that was, like you said, Jeff, that was really cool, too, that they did that.
Last thing before we move on, Cycly texted me. I'm sure there's a lot of gravitas to this and verification that can be added. But Space Jam now, like as an adult watching the movie, check out our movie commentary, shameless plug, looks like a pure work from his PR team to repair his image after all of this.
Yeah.
Yes.
How can we repair the gambling image? Hold on. Let me call Bugs Bunny. Let me get him on.
Let me save the Looney Tunes from slavery.
All right, best scene. Guys, this 2 episodes has the most best scenes, I think, of any of the previous episodes. With the Spike Lee, Must Be the Shoes, fucking Like Mike, Gatorade, the 93 finals, Dream Team. But I'm going to go first, so none of you fuckers pick mine. I love the day in the life. I loved it in the dirt when Tommy Lee showed basically what a day in the life looked like of him. It's almost more interesting a day in the life of Michael Jordan. And guys, this is why you shouldn't be pissed when you say, I waited for 3 hours for an athlete to sign an autograph for my kid. He just walked by. I'm like, do you know what he's done all fucking day? Like, he's been up since 5, had media in his face, and when Jordan was in that hotel room watching TV, he's like, this is the only time I get to myself ever. There's always somebody that wants something from me. Oh, and by the way, at 7 o'clock, I need to play a game tonight and win it to force a game 7 so we win the fucking finals. It's insane how basketball, winning a game, is the least thing on his fucking mind until about 10 minutes before tip off. That was my favorite scene. It just amazed me how much this guy goes through and how, like, he can't go anywhere without, going out of the hotel without cameras in his face, everyone asking him questions. I would be the biggest dick ever, and I don't blame these athletes for being either. Banner, best scene.
It's got to be that 92 Olympics, that infamous practice. We've never had all of those guys basically sitting down in the same metaphorical room and talking about that at the same time, about how that was the best basketball that was ever played in the history of basketball. And I truly believe that. And then how Magic kind of alleviated the pressure and cut the tension in the room by going, well, I guess that's the last time we'll piss him off. That's the stuff I like. That's the stuff I want to hear about, is the stories and the kind of the validation of some of that folklore of what happened with that Dream team.
Yeah, that's because we know they killed everybody. So the interesting part is like I don't want to say infighting, but them playing each other is way more interesting than any Olympic game they had. Not even close. My best scene. So last week when Horace Grant called the Pistons little bitches, we thought that was going to be the quote of the series.
No, sirree.
Geiger now knows I've priced out a few artists to get this tattooed right above my ass. And it's Jordan's quote when asked about his gambling. While wearing sunglasses in the dark with Ahmad Rashad,
God,
he says,
how great was Ahmad Rashad back then, too? God,
he was the fucking man, dude. And Jordan's quote is, I don't have a gambling problem. I have a competition problem.
Yep.
Well, my future wife, I don't have a drinking problem. I have a Miller Lite problem, specifically. I just love that quote, man. And again, the reason, and I know Geiger echoes this, the reason that I would love an athlete is if I understand the duality of his personality. That's why I fucking hate Tim Tebow, because I don't believe any of the narrative that they sell me about who he is. The reason that I now like Jordan more is because he's a real fucking person. Don't sit here and tell me you don't have flaws, you don't have vices. You like to drink whiskey and gamble. Guess what, bro? I do too. I'm just not the greatest athlete to ever play basketball.
You have a cigar in your mouth literally every second that you're not talking.
It's only lit half the time. I don't take off the white wig. Stop judging people. But that was my favorite scene because to me, finally, this documentary, and again, Matt and I both said this, we knew it wasn't going to step into like territory where, because Jordan is such a big part of it. It's not going to totally like defame him and whitewash his name, but at least gave us the other side of the coin a little bit. All right, he's human. He has flaws. I'll take it.
All right, impacts on pop culture. Okay, I've been waiting to talk about this since I've seen this because this is a fascinating topic. So when there was a Democratic African-American governor running for office in North Carolina, they asked Jordan to back him. And Jordan said, and I quote, "No thanks, because Republicans buy shoes too," which just uproared people. And then Jordan, when they asked him about it, and he almost like, and I want you to take away what OJ did later, but OJ was a lot like this too when he was playing. He's like, dude, I just want to play football. I don't want to be Muhammad Ali. I don't want to be Martin Luther King. I just want to play football, be a good football player. And Jordan was the same. I just want to play basketball. And, I have my own brand. I want to sell shoes. And honestly, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Also, I don't think there's anything wrong with Muhammad Ali. I don't think there's anything wrong with LeBron talking out about police brutality. You don't have to be one or the other. It's just who you are. However, you being the political is tough because LeBron's really hard on police brutality, but then when you ask him about China and people dying, he was dead silent. And I think Jordan was just like, I don't want anything to do with that, man. I just want to fucking play basketball. And if people like my shoes, fucking sell some shoes and that's it. I don't know anything about politics. I really don't care about politics. I just want to be the best basketball player ever, which is interesting because athletes now are 100% the other way. They use, basically their fandom to get people to, buy into whatever they like, which is fine. I mean, if they're big into politics and that's what they like, or they're big into music, I'm fine with that. But I miss the athletes that are like, hey man, I'm a great basketball player, and if you want to mimic my work ethic, like Jordan said, go ahead. But I thought that was just so 90s what he did, because today, my God, that'd be all over. And I don't remember if it was, I didn't watch the news then. I don't really watch it now, but that'd be all over fucking everything. If LeBron said that today, that's all anyone would be talking about.
There'd be riots in the streets.
It was very interesting how, like, back then politics weren't involved in sports, and now it just seems like, it is. And you had Barack Obama, and everyone's like, yeah, we felt like that was like a shove in the black community. I was like, dude, he just wanted to play basketball.
I loved how when Barack Obama was interviewed, his title was former Chicago resident.
That was great.
I'm like, has he done anything else?
Wasn't he like?
Just pulled him off the street.
Office, I think.
I wish it would have said like former Bulls fan. What?
The other thing I want to say is that when Isaiah was talking about the dream team, he said, I think I had the qualification. Guys, let's be honest. You take Stockton out and you put Isaiah in. They're both fantastic point guards, probably the top 5 of all time. But Isaiah has 2 rings and Stockton has none. Case, period, done. You put Isaiah in there, but politics kept him out. And that's really sad. Isaiah deserves to be on that team. That team will be talked about by our grandchildren as probably the greatest basketball team ever. I'm sad that he wasn't on there. All right. Impacts, Banner.
So mine isn't going to be nearly as deep as that. I just want you guys to, or I kind of want to point attention to, all of this is going out. Obviously, the NBA is on hiatus right now because of the coronavirus that's going around. And Jordan and ESPN decided to drop this a little early during this to kind of fill that sports gap for us. And what did LeBron James do? Tweets out a hat of Space Jam 2. Is that not, hey, look at me, guys. I'm good at basketball too. Get the fuck out of here,
with
dude.
An awful title also. Like it's fucking
horrendous.
Venom, no Let There Be Carnage is like, thank God that title exists, right?
Yeah, no shit. Look, I respect LeBron James as a basketball player. He is doing what he does in his craft on the court. But this whole, kind of like what you were talking about with Tim Tebow, Jeff, his whole image and everything, I've always really questioned. And now he is so insecure in his own skin. This right here proves it. Hey, I have to win. He can't win in Cleveland. All right, hey, I'm going to get my boys. I'm going to go down to Miami and win. All right, that's fine. Whatever. Oh, well, now that I've won, I'm going to go back. I'm going to bring one home. All right, cool. You brought one home. Oh, wait, but people still aren't saying I'm the best? All right, I'm going to go to LA. Oh, wait, people are still saying I'm not best? Well, Jordan made a movie. I'm going to make a movie too. Hate to break it to you, dude, but pretty sure Kevin Durant made a shitty movie before you did that was like a Michael Jordan movie. Yes. So,
what's the shitty movie?
It's called. I don't know. I just found it very, very poor tact on LeBron's part. And dude, you're always going to be second fiddle to him. I'm sorry. It is what it is.
I really like LeBron, but he makes it harder every day for me to back him. He's like the crazy ass chick that you're dating, and you're like, I love her, she's fine. It's like, she was drunker and shit, had sex with everyone at the party. I'm like, well, it was.
She came home to me.
Like, you just gotta back her all the time.
Fun.
Like, it's exhausting.
Yeah, I don't think I could like LeBron more on the court and hate him more off the court than I do.
Yeah. Like,
it's too bad because I really think he's probably the second best player of all time, and it's getting close with him and Jordan because they're so different. But that's a whole nother debate.
Jordan, Kobe, Kareem, LeBron. I would say Magic's better than LeBron. Anyway, impacts on pop culture, Jeff.
I'll just echo everything Matt said, and I think it is a really interesting point that this documentary brings up. Like, just because I'm great at basketball, the best in the world, maybe the best of all time, like, why do I have to be some political figure?
Yeah.
Because me personally, like, if I had that stage, that's the last thing I would want. And I actually kind of respect Jordan. I mean, I know it was a different time. It'd be a lot harder to do now, but he did it. To just say, like, look, man, whether I support you or not, like, this is not something that I belong in. And I'm not going to use my platform to do something I'm not comfortable with. So we're not a political podcast. I don't have much else to say beyond that, but I agree with your point. It's interesting to see like that they even brought those guys into the documentary, which I'm actually glad they did, because to get like their venom and how their vitriol and how angry they were at him, especially because the guy lost the race. But it's like, but should you have a basketball? I don't know. Should a basketball player be the one? I know he has the platform, but it's not his responsibility. And I don't want to open up that can of worms, but it was an interesting thing to see that I didn't think we were going to get that angle of his persona in this documentary.
The last thing I'll say about that is they brought up, and they always bring up, well, Muhammad Ali, and I.
But that's his choice, man.
I love Muhammad Ali. I love Muhammad Ali. They're like, well, he did it. I was like, yeah, and he lost. He lost. I mean, he did get his point across, but they took away 3 years of his prime, of the greatest probably athlete ever. They took away 3 years of his prime. He's still the greatest ever. What could he have done in those 3 years? How much money and everything else could he have made in those 3 years? So why would any athlete be like, dude, they took away Ali's prime. What are they going to do to me? I mean, why would any of them stand up to that?
Even irregardless, Matt, Muhammad Ali wanted to do it. So good for him, like you said. Jordan didn't want to, so why should he have to?
I believe Ali's message he was pushing. I totally believe the message he was pushing, but it cost him the prime of probably the greatest athlete we've ever seen. Now, when he came back, he was still good. He was like Tiger. He still won, but he wasn't the greatest we've ever seen because he was getting older. But anyway, that's a totally different discussion. But okay, so rewatchability. Let's just do, what do we want to see next in the next 2 episodes? Banner.
I can help you out.
Yeah, go ahead first.
So, you know who has conveniently got to hide behind all of the fucked up situation in the front office is Reinsdorf. So, well, Jerry Krause, he's fucking, if Phil Jackson goes undefeated, he's fired. Who's calling all the fucking shots? Who signs every fucking check? Who's in charge of everything? Jerry Reinsdorf. And he's been in interviews, but why does this guy get to sit, as Vince Vaughn would say in the breakup, up in his little, and make moves from up in his little ivory tower? It doesn't make sense that, and Krause, may he rest in peace, isn't here to defend himself. So I want to see someone come at Jerry Reinsdorf, and I understand Krause had his own relationships and his own warts, but this is at the end of the day the boss. So this is on him.
I didn't know he was dead. Wow. Okay.
I mean, look at him, Matt. You think he could survive?
I mean, I know he's fat, but I mean, it was. I guess that was a long time ago. We're getting old. Okay, Banner. What do you want to see for the next 2 episodes?
So we know we have all this behind the scenes footage of the 98 season, right? Why are we not we're not getting anything in like the locker room or halftime of these games? I want more. This team knew they were on the back nine, right?
I want Jordan choking Kerr.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, I want to see them getting fired up. And what did they do to like continue to be motivated and, hey, we are the best? And how do they keep that momentum and that strength as a core together? And, you know, getting in each other's faces. I mean, you know, those guys punched each other every fucking practice. You know they did. That's the shit I want to see. I want to see the turmoil within this great team. It wasn't all, you know, rainbow farts and butterflies, right?
No way.
What I want to see is they keep talking about Krause, and they keep talking about, and there's some heated exchanges. All we've seen is like Jordan, like, hey, don't smoke that cigar, it'll stunt your growth. We've seen them make fun of him, but I want to see Jordan nose to nose with Krause. I want to see Pippen.
Well, he'd have to get on his
Yeah, it's more nose to dick.
But I want to see an altercation or Phil Jackson or something like that. And then I'm trying to think of the finals. What's the finals we got next, Jeff? The Houston Rockets?
The Sonics.
Sonics. With Kemp? Okay. I would like to see that with Kemp. Kemp and Pate. That'll be interesting.
I can name the whole 12-man roster if you need.
No. And then finally what I want to see is the Jazz Bulls finals. I know we're going to get that. Chill out. I want to see the Bash at the Beach, Hulk Hogan, Dennis Rodman versus DDP, Karl Malone. Do you guys remember this? During the finals when they were...
I remember it happening. I didn't know it was during that finals, which is
insane. It was because basically Malone and Rodman were like fighting each other. And Bash at the Beach happens in July or June. So it was It was right after the NBA Finals when they did it. So I want to see just a little bit, like a 10-minute thing of that. It's like, it got so nuts, they did a WCW wrestling promo with fucking Rodman versus Malone and DDP, because that was a huge match. Because
that's something else
like,
that'll never happen today.
Fuck no.
Also, guys, one thing before this thing ends. Can I get just one Luke Longley interview? Just one.
I don't think anyone ever asked him anything, though.
Come on, man. We love the Australians. Just give me one.
Except,
I'm Luke Longley.
Where's the bagel shelf at? It looks like it's over there, mate. Okay.
Over there, mate. Just go grab one. I've got some schmear in the fridge.
All right, we've been the Bro4 Squad. We have a website. Check it out. Oh, you want the URL? It's bro4squad.com. iTunes, YouTube, and Anchor is where you can find all of our content, so subscribe to us on that. Twitter at Bro4Squad, and check out our reviews on Letterboxd. Until then, we'll see you on the hardwood for the next 2 episodes of The Last Dance.
I don't have a podcast problem. I have a recording us saying stupid shit problem.
Drinking.
I definitely have a drink.